want to explore for a few moments the impact that a lack of public toilets can have on society and economy. And can we come to you first, Tom, on this, because you felt compelled to do something?
Yes, I've probably come at it a bit selfishly. All of this during the summer, my brother and I, we were out in a park trying to enjoy some of the early sun after the first, well, during near the end of the first lockdown, and suddenly, didn't want there were I guess normally people would go behind a bush. Certainly, if you were a bloke, that's what people tend to do. But it was very busy, lots of people there, and it's not suddenly an option. And we were caught short, which is how it began for us. We had to make a mad run back through West London to use the toilet we had at home. And we started looking into this, and a lot of them obviously were closed during the lockdown by councils, and many are still closed or only partially opened. And we decided surely something could be done about it if we maybe crowdsourced, and we did. And what we found is certainly places that people use, which are really vital actually during these last 6 or 7 months. Good mental health, being able to go out when you can, whether it be to a park or to the high street, if you were supporting restaurants or shops and retail, then there isn't the availability that I guess there has been in the past. I think there is probably less public toilets today than there have ever been. And the impact is, it does stop people going out. And when we started, we thought we'd be serving, I guess, people like ourselves, people that wanted to go out to a park and have a drink. But it's so many different groups of people who can be impacted from, it'd be runners, people that would use changing places toilets, which obviously were, some of those might be at supermarkets or whatnot, and they were closed. And we had lots of cases of people giving us tales where they were stuck, as Tony said earlier, on the loo leash, or they couldn't leave the bladder zone. And it's not good for people's mental health, and it certainly isn't good for the economy.
Rich, can I come to you now and ask what you think a quality washroom, publicly available, what impact that can make on a community?
I think it can have quite a considerable impact on the community, not only whether it's open or not, but also the condition it's in, and that goes to a certain way back to funding and the services that are actually available in the washroom itself. I guess the key thing is for them to be open, which is the first challenge, and I know we'll speak about funding a little bit later, but that washroom does have, as all the guys have said recently, have a real impact on the local community, the local environment, but also the local economy of somebody, the ability to pop into town, to pop into the local shops. We know even prior to COVID that the high street was under huge pressure in terms of the out of town shopping centres, that side of things, and there's been a lot of work, certainly where I live, and I know in other areas, to try and drive people to the high street. The unfortunate thing with that is if there aren't public washrooms open, that is a real restrictor for people to, like you say, to be off I hadn't heard the loo leash before, but I would definitely use that going forward. But to be really restricted by those. And a lot of the feedback we've had, even like I said, prior to COVID, but COVID has obviously accelerated almost the death of the high street to a certain extent, that washrooms really represent it. They're a key decision-making factor, whether to go out or not, in many instances. And the work Tom and his brother have done, I think, that we've seen and we've started to partner with, has been great, because at least that's given people some confidence to go out. And that's the confidence we need to try and maintain and increase as we come out of, hopefully, second lockdown. There's a vaccine on its way, and the key thing is to try and encourage those facilities, whether they be shops or leisure centres or parks or anything like that, that anything we can do to help people take advantage of those and start to support the local community and economy is really key. And I think that's that's one of the things that when we talk about funding, and over the last few years where maybe these public washrooms have been neglected, I don't think there's a connection between the facilities and what impact it could have to the greater community. And it's something that we supply products into that market, but we're very conscious of it's something that we're really quite passionate about, that it should help to develop the local community and the economy as well as just the washroom itself.
I think what Tom really described in really vivid terms there was how lockdown has brought this issue to a fore, but it's not a new issue, is it?